Out of 100, 3 people are ready to buy now. The next 30 are people going to go, Piyush, oh, I love that new thing you're doing, and I'm not in the buying game right now. You're never, ever going to know I'm here, but I'm going to watch for like maybe 6 to 9 months. Then the next 30 are people going, Piyush, oh, yeah, that's great, that's interesting. I'm going to follow you, but, I'm doing other things for the next 12 to 18 months. I've already got my budget and I'm already doing some stuff over here. Now I need the thing that Piyush sells. Bang, buy. And the remaining 37, never your customer. Focus on the 63.
And a lot of marketing people talk a lot about, are you doing drip campaigns or not? Losing customers. What the hell is drip campaign?
So drip campaigns is automated emails, which is you wouldn't want to start selling until at least 4 emails in. Now let's show them respect and start giving them all of the free things you can possibly throw at them. Reels are designed for a non-follower. So what does a non-follower need to know about you? Not what you do, about you. Carousels, they're for people who have known you and they're interested in hang out. And say we go for stories. Well, they're for your raving fans.
My guest today is from Port Macquarie, New South Wales, Australia. She's an entrepreneur, podcast host, CEO of The Social Coach, and founder at the Serenity Project. Please welcome Bron Watson. Bron, thank you so much for doing this. Really glad to have you here.
Look, thank you for having me, Piyush. It's great, actually, to catch up with you.
So, Bron, you've built 2 businesses and you're writing a book, right?
I am.
So, what is the journey you went on to reach here?
Look, it's a very long, convoluted one, but I'll trim it down as short as I can. So, going back, right? So, I've actually had a dual career for decades. Then it tells you how old I am. But wisdom brings a lot of knowledge, just like I'd like to say. And I've had a dual career in marketing and in nursing. I'm actually a nurse educator. I've taught at university. I've done all sorts of things in that space. And then I've had an incredible opportunity in marketing along the way. So always giving a lot to everyone around me, because obviously in those careers. I started my very first business in 2011, 2012, and it was called Nurse Power. And I wanted, because, as you get older, or in your 20s, in your 30s, even in your 40s, when you're at work and you go, you know what, I know that I'm destined for more, and I wanted to do something for me, and I wanted to own my own business. So that's where I went, right, can't be that hard. Well, obviously that is so far from the truth. But what I did, though, was I started my own business in Nurse Power, which is for nurses in education, because obviously I combined what I knew and I started my first business. And this was at a time when I just thought you could just put stuff out, even though social media back then, we were having engagement of like 10 plus so easily with nothing. And it was a time when I just thought everyone would just come and buy my stuff. It can't be that hard. But that's when I started to learn that is not the case. And so I started to really delve into growing an online business. And I had so many people asking me, how did you grow this business, Bron? How did you get out of nursing? And so after a couple of years, I started another business called Bron Watson, and I didn't know what to call it because I didn't have a lot of time to think about it. So basically, I then started to mentor and help people from right at the beginning of a business, which is the lead generation, lead nurture, sales funnel process, through to sales, to delivery, the whole shebang of growing an online business using obviously digital tools and digital marketing to make it all come together. And so I started the Bron Watson brand, which is now known as The Social Coach. And going through those years, I built a very successful business actually, and what I didn't realise though was that it wasn't quite a fit for what I wanted to do. So I actually would have these thoughts about going, this doesn't feel right, but I completely ignored my own intuition until I had a breast cancer diagnosis in 2017.
Oh,
Massive dose of adversity. And obviously, overnight, gone from having a successful mastermind, because, back then that's what we did. We grew masterminds and we had workshops and we did retreats and we did all of the things. And I did them all. And suddenly I had this diagnosis. So what that did was, I can remember after, I think it was the second chemotherapy, so I was sick by this stage. I was delivering a live interface into my mastermind Facebook group. And here I am, I had to deliver this message and I'm on Facebook Live, and then I caught a glimpse of myself and I didn't even recognize myself because I was so red and round
yeah.
and bald. And I realized in that split second that if I kept going the way I was with a business model that wasn't built for me, very successful, I looked at myself and I actually pointed at myself. I said, do you want to die if you want to keep this up? You keep this up, you're going to be in a very bad place. And so I shut that business down, half the business, not all of it. I shut down the actual mastermind part of that business overnight with no plan B. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
cool,
That's
very
scary.
difficult.
That's
And
scary.
I know you've had that adversity where when you were growing your business and you're
Yeah.
bootstrapping and you're doing all of the things. So I'd been through all of that. I'm still, all I'd been was for my clients. It's just that I'd been in the trenches a lot longer. So I was in the trenches of growing a business just like they were, but I had obviously a lot more experience. But now, what do I do now? And that's where the social coach came about, because I'd done some training with a lady called Jennifer. Now, she was a very senior part of the Barack Obama second social media campaign. So I figured I actually learned from her for a year, and I'm so grateful I did, because I was able to then pivot. And this is the thing, when things go wrong, whether it be financial, whether it be your health, in my case, it was health, whether it be relationships, whatever in life, when things come, how does your business go through that? And so for me, I looked at what I had in my toolbox. What could I package up? And strangely enough, I'd never really worked locally. So I live in Port Macquarie. I'm 4 hours north of Sydney in Australia. I'm in a little country town. And I started selling Facebook workshops, 4-hour social media Facebook workshops. And that's all I could do. I was still going through chemotherapy,
Yeah.
but I dug into what I had. So I didn't have to go and learn something new. And because I'm an educator, I knew how to stand at the front of a room and I knew how to deliver. But when you're really sick or when something's gone really, really wrong, what's your plan B? Because I didn't have one. And that's where the social coach came about, because then I started to help businesses specifically just with social media, organic social media, not even ads. I mean, I'd done all the ads, I'd done all the funnels, I'd done all of the things. I could have done it. I didn't want to do it. So I have a beautiful team who has stuck with me through that whole entire time. So I'm very blessed, but it's been a roller coaster ride.
So you mentioned about this organic social media, right? So organic social media sounds a little, these days everybody talks about funnels and ads and, a
Yes.
lot of other stuff. So, and many people say that growing organically is almost dead, right? Nobody grows organically, right?
Well, depending on where you are and what you do, I
And
would disagree with that, but yes.
so for business owners or entrepreneurs, Bron, who are starting the business, who have
Yeah.
just started the business, going through first or second year of the business, where nobody knows about them, right? So social media is a tool where you can reach out to the world, but they don't know how to reach out to the world. And these terms like organic marketing, performance marketing, CAC, what's your cost to acquiring customers, is a lot
That's
of
right.
overwhelming, right? So
Very.
where do they start? actually?
Look, it's a really great question. So I like to think of building a business, right? So when you're building, say you're building what we call in Australia bricks and mortar, a shop, a factory, some sort of building. It's built on bricks with mortar. It's got walls, it's got a floor. And what holds up that building is the foundations. So whether you have a physical store or whether you have an online presence, foundations are what hold the business up. Because if you don't have a foundation, you can do all the ads in the world. But when people come to have a look at you and find that you're real or not, whether it be through AI, whether it be through Google, whether it be through social media, if you don't have a foundation, what are they going to find? Nothing. So what does that do? Because what I think people miss the point with marketing is actually emotion. It's about an emotional feeling when I see your stuff and when you see mine. And if we're not there, or you're intermittent, or you're not showing up at all, or if all you're doing is selling, how does it make your customer, potential customer, not even a customer yet, someone who's just seen your stuff, how are they going to feel? They're going to feel that you don't care. So if you're starting out and you're struggling and you know that you've got to do ads and you know you've got to do all of the things and you know you need the funnels, if you don't have a foundation, it's a waste of time. So start with your foundation, and your foundation, people, is your organic social media. Because when you're running ads with engagement and algorithm, it attaches to what you're already putting out. Social media will only show things that it deems to be important. And remembering, people know people know people. If you don't work if you don't work or want to attract the first line, you're never ever going to meet the bigger players out the back, because it's all built on trust and emotion. So we can say that it's dead, but it's not. I know it's not. I have evidence. I have factual evidence. And interestingly enough, I follow a couple of really big players in influencer marketing. And guess what? Social media, organic social media is here. It's how you show up, though. Not if you should show up. It's how you show up to build that foundation. That's what I believe to be true. I have evidence to prove it. And people connect with people. People buy from people 100% of the time. And if they don't trust you because you haven't bothered showing up and your foundation is not there, guess what? They're not going to buy your stuff. They just won't.
So Bron, let's take an example. Say there's a young chap, 26, 27 years old, from a small city in India, right? He has this brilliant idea and he started his business. Now, how do he grow his network or the community or the organic, how does he do the organic social media or reach?
Yeah, and good point. Good point. So first of all, before we even go to posting, I want to take everybody back to strategy, which is what are you wanting to achieve? How do you plan to get there? And what are the tactics, in other words, the steps that you're going to do to deliver what you say you're going to deliver? So let's call this guy, I don't know, what would you call him? Let's give him a name, your 26-year-old.
Just call him Piyush, right?
Piyush,
Take my
right?
example.
Piyush is there. He's 26. He's got this incredible idea. We're going to, I don't like using the word assume because I don't believe in it. I'm an evidence kind of gal. I like the evidence to dictate where we go, but we're going to assume he's already got a business, but it's struggling, it's intermittent, cash flow's intermittent, and he needs to connect and grow that business. So where does his ideal customer hang out? Where are they? Who are the people who know the people who know the people? Organic socials, which is the foundation, is a long game. So if you're thinking that you're going to get a lead next week, if you do, fantastic. If you don't stress, because it's a long game. Foundations of a building take time. to start. So I want you to keep coming back to thinking you have a foundation. How do I build my foundation? Who do I need on my team? Who knows someone who knows someone? Start on LinkedIn. Start connecting. Don't just connect to sell. All right. That is the last. What you put out on socials or in marketing, what you put out is exactly what you get back. So if you're going to put out sell, and you're not wanting to build a relationship with me, I'm not going to bother because Piyush just wants to sell to me. I don't even want what he's got. I don't know, make up something that you're selling. I don't even want it because you haven't focused in on who that ideal customer is, where do they hang out, and when you're looking at that, for example, Reels are designed for a non-follower. So what does a non-follower need to know about you? Not what you do, about you. Carousels, they're for people who have known you and they're interested in hang out, and say we go for stories. Well, they're for your raving fans. So we want to start with the video, the reels, to go, cool, who is Piyush? Who is he? What does he do? Well, he loves soccer and he loves this, and, like thinking of ideal customer, what have you got in common? Like I once had a psychologist as a client, and in Australia, it's quite rigid in what you can and can't say online for a psychologist. But this psychologist loved cats. So guess what? We focused on loving the cats with her message filtered through loving cats. So who did she attract? People who loved cats, not people who didn't like dogs, who love the dogs. Do you see?
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's about bringing in who you are. I call myself the chief coffee drinker because honestly, Piyush, by going through the treatments that I've been through with cancer, and I had another one in 2023, all I had left was coffee. And I started my title, Chief Coffee Drinker, nearly 15 years ago, because that's my one love. I love coffee. So if I go to a cafe and the coffee's no good, guess what? I'm not going back. But if the coffee's great, I'm going back again and again and again. So that's what I mean around, think of that analogy in marketing.
Yeah.
You want to attract the people who love the coffee, get them in, and they're going to love it as much as you do, because a person who loves coffee understands someone who loves coffee. The people who love the cats, the people who love the dogs. You don't want to go for everyone, and we're connecting as humans, we're connecting as people. Oh, and by the way, I've got this super cool, great thing over here, and they'll go, oh my gosh, my uncle, he knows someone, blah, 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 blah. You don't know where the connections come. The connection. So building a network, and that's what foundational social media is about raving fans, not about influencing, because that's great if you want to. And the young ones, don't get me wrong, go for it. But I would rather you have 2,000 following avid fans than 2 million or 20,000 who don't give a damn about you, because they're never going to buy.
Yeah, and that is true with the views also. The people who are viewing or watching your content are not always your potential buyers. So you don't need to stress about I have so many views, but I'm not closing any deals.
Because they're not the right people. So I'll give you I'll give you another hot tip here. So when you're thinking of marketing, right? So organic social media is marketing, of course. It's a long game, but when you've got a foundation, right, you can add the ads, add all of your things. Once you've got that, then I want you to think about, in a room of 100, this is based on evidence, guys. This is actually based on a social media campaign. A very, very large, well-known person, I won't say their name because I don't want to break confidentiality, who we've been a part of, we've been with. And out of 100, 3 people are ready to buy now. The next 30 are people going to go, Piyush, I love that new thing you're doing, and I'm liking the cats thing that you're doing. But I'm not in the industry, but I'm not in the buying game right now. I'm just going to watch. You're never ever going to know I'm here, but I'm going to watch for maybe 6 to 9 months. But then
Yeah.
when I'm ready, who am I going to remember? It's called front of mind campaign. Who am I going to remember? I'm going to remember Piyush. Oh my God, what's that? Bang, bye. Then the next 30 are people going, Piyush, oh yeah, that's great. That's interesting. I'm going to follow you, but I'm doing other things for the next 12 to 18 months. I've already got my budget and I'm already doing some stuff over here, but you're
Yeah.
always there, right? 12 to 18 months. Oh, now I need the thing that Piyush sells. Bang, buy. But if you only focus on the 3, you're missing the other 60. And the remaining 37, never your customer, never going to buy. They might watch your stuff, but they are not your ideal customer. So I always say to my people, focus on the 63. And you'll see a lot on socials. I know, and this is the wisdom of being in the game for a long time, people. I did actually say, I was at a conference only a few months ago and I had this very gorgeous young person say to me, Bron, don't you think you're a bit old for social media? I said, why, thank you so much. Appreciate your feedback. I said, my wisdom is something that you want to listen to. I left it at that. And that's the thing, because we don't want to keep selling. That's what you do when we've got 3. They're going to buy 3. But if you don't focus on the 63, and that's the foundation, that's the organic piece, even through your ads, there's always someone who's going to come in, but they're just going to float around for ages. And then one day they suddenly buy. And you think, how did that happen? Why? Because they're part of the 63. That's why.
So those 63 is your gold mine, right?
Gold.
And to
Absolute
dig
gold.
gold, it takes time, right? It doesn't come out
It doesn't take
that
time.
easily. Yeah.
But if you consistently show up, you can consistent. So the algorithms reward consistency above all else. They will reward. And yes, there's lots of tips and there's lots of little ways you can do on each platform, depending on which one you want to play on. But just look at the one where people are spending money. That would be my first tip. Don't play on a platform if people are not ever going to spend money. So if you're on TikTok and there's just no money coming in, put your effort into somewhere else. And by the way, then go put it over there. Do you see what I mean? I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying you want to go where your ideal customer is, who's got the money to spend, and then focus on the 63.
So that's amazing. First, find out who is your ideal customer,
Yes.
and where they hang out, right? So you have to hang out, and then you need to find out what's common between you and them, right?
Yep.
So that common point is a conversation starter, not your product, not your service, not what you're selling, nothing doing, right? Like for example, you took example of the psychiatrist who loved cats, right? So people who love cats will naturally have a conversation, and while that conversation, then you have to probe that basically people tell about themselves, you tell about yourself. That's it. You have to stop there, right? You don't have to oversell it. And you just have to let people know, and you just have to, like for example, like for me, I should talk to people, and then I should tell I do these things, right? Like I'm into the tech industry, so I
Yes, you
do
are.
tech, right? But then I don't oversell it that we provide this product and this service and that feature and all of that. No. But if I keep appearing in a couple of days in front of them, by some or the other reason, they remember my face, they remember my name, and they remember what I do. So whenever they get any requirement, or basically if they are looking for something, the first person that should come in mind is me, right?
Correct. It's
And
called
that
a
is a
front of
long-term game.
mind. Yep. And it's
Yeah.
called front of mind campaign. So,
Yeah.
and understanding ideal customer. So over the last 14 years, obviously I've heard hundreds, if not thousands of businesses we work through who is their ideal customer, because you're going to have numerous ideal customers, but you just can't talk to them all in that one space. So you might go, cool, LinkedIn's for, people go, oh, LinkedIn. And like the younger people go, oh God, Facebook is dead. Okay, okay, great. But who are you selling to? Are they going to be 40 to 50, 45 to 50-year-olds? Well, you might want to think again about saying Facebook's dead. They
Yeah.
could be 18-year-olds. Okay, well, where do they want to hang out? Where do they spend money? not just hang out. And what are the problems? So what happens in ideal customer, right, is that they've got a beautiful vision or that they're looking for something. So in our case, Piyush, we're going back to the 26-year-old with the tech company wanting to grow his business.
Yeah.
He's wanting to get more leads through his AKA front door, could be his inbox, his website, insert wherever his sales funnel starts. He wants to grow that business, get more leads, so he's got more people to potentially to sell to. So who's the ideal customer there? Well, it's going to be someone who wants his services. But then what are the challenges? What's that ideal customer's challenge? So when we know what they want, and I'm talking really want, not just superficial want, please, this is where AI is so helpful for deep research. It does such fabulous deep research now. So you can go and research in, 10 minutes, and you'll have your answers. But what you want to ask, and it's what you ask, it's to AI really, and how you ask it, is you're wanting to ensure that you understand what are their deep-seated goals, what are their challenges. So you're selling a tech product, you're selling tech, you've got a very limited budget for tech, for your marketing. But who's the person who needs to buy your tech? And remembering, think 63. But what happens is when you know your ideal customers' really deep-seated problems, who they are, the demographics, the psychographics, the whole shebang, and then you know what they are challenged with, you become the obvious solution in the middle. And so we call it polarizing those apart. So in your marketing, you'll be talking about what are their dreams? What are their goals? You're going to be talking about their challenge because you want to push them apart so that you want to make the pain point of what they're looking, you become the ideal solution. And of course, because you've been out there consistently, even if you're only posting once or twice a week, as long as you're consistently out there thinking, Piyush, my God, he's my guy.
Yeah.
And they're already going to come and they'll buy. I was selling masterminds from Facebook ads.
Is it right to say that you should always talk about outcomes, not about your product and services?
Yes. How do you want to make them feel? Remembering, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're on your phone? How do you feel when you're scrolling at 8 o'clock at night and you've worked a 12-hour day and you're wrecked? You want to be taken out of your reality and you want to feel better. So you're wanting to have marketing, social media that answers that they go, I feel that too. I get that. And of course, because of the way the algorithms work, once you start interacting, you'll get everybody's work in that space. So start looking about how do you want to feel. You are not your ideal customer. That's the first thing. So, you can like all the platforms in the world that you want, but if wherever your ideal customer hangs out, that is where you will go because they're the ones who will eventually pay you. So if we're going to put a return on investment for our time is money. So we want to get there. So we want to get that 63, that 6 to 9 month, we want to get that down. We want to shorten that process down. And the way we do that is that we build trust without ever trying to sell to me. Because if you're trying to sell to me and I'm not ready to be sold to because you've missed listening to who I am as an ideal customer, you will lose me in an instant.
Yeah. Because I am pitching something which is not even meant for you. You're not even interested. Right. So pitching something in front of the wrong people, you will never close a deal. Right.
Yep. And this comes back to good old fashioned networking, right? Whether you're on a digital platform or whether you're face to face, whether you're at a local BNI chapter, doesn't matter where you are. It's around building your network, which is building relationships so that when you're ready for the big deal and Piyush is ready to go, cool, I don't need funding, but I'm really ready to scale here.
Yeah.
That person's going to say, oh yeah, he's a great guy. He was really cool. He listened to everything I said versus you going in there and talking about yourself the whole time. Like if you and I were to connect at a business networking, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. I want to know about you.
Exactly.
You as a person. You bootstrap. Tell me more about that. Man, I know what it's like to be in the trenches and bootstrapping. How did you go? What did you do? How did you get out of that trench faster without funding. See what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Tell me the
exactly.
story.
And yeah, and one thing that happens, Bron, is like, when we start a new business, most of us is like are like, we're doing earlier jobs, and we
Yes,
have that job mindset wherein every month, first to fifth, we get salaries, and we get money in the bank.
that's
But when
right.
it comes to business, it's uncertain, right? So how to break that mindset? Basically, people say marketing is too expensive, I should not be doing marketing. But without marketing, you will not get business. But
It's
then
part
if
of the
you're coming
process.
from the
Yeah.
job mindset, then at the end of the month you're saying, oh, there's no money in my bank, how am I going to live and survive and stuff like that, right? How to break that mindset?
And it's a really good point, right? Because it's real. Let's be honest, it's a real question. Where do you put your investment dollars? So I don't say spending money, we're going to invest. We'll invest in, like I caught up with a guy 2 weeks ago for the Serenity Project. So my new founding project that I'm working on, right? This guy's worked at a very large international marketing agency. I wanted him to do an audit. Could I do an audit on my own stuff? Absolutely. I wanted to hear from him. And guess what, guys? Guess what he told me to do? Bron, it's fantastic what you're doing. You're 80 to 90% there. I want to see more of just random phone up videos, right? And when we opt in for a free offering of some description, I want 8 to 12 emails to go out in the first 14 days. And I'm going, oh my God, really that much? He goes, yeah, because we're going to give them this, and then we're going to give them this, and then we're going to give them this. All for my community, right? No different to Piyush's tech business at 26. So how do you get out of the trenches? How do you get out of when you are literally in a financial position where you can't afford to employ people?
Yeah.
The thing there is that the hustle, there's a time for hustle, but to back it up, I really would encourage you to look after yourselves at the same time. I used to think that self-care was a luxury. I used to think, oh no, I don't have time for that rubbish.
Yeah.
It's not rubbish. It only becomes a problem when it gets to big adversity like what happened to me. So the lesson there is to look after yourself as you go through the hustle, while you are the accountant, while you are the marketing director, while you are the CEO, while you are the other
Yeah.
sales guy and the BDM and all of the things, right? And you're doing all of the things. How do you get through that? Is I have this saying, and I've used it in my health, but I use it in business now as well. I know I will. I don't know how. What's the next step? So we build our strategies, we build our plans, and I let go of trying to control all of it, because that is no good for my health.
Yeah,
So
it's funny, like we don't know what's going to happen to us
we
in
don't.
next 10 seconds, and
Correct.
we're planning for next 10 years.
Correct. Which is fine, but I want you to bring it back to, well, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
Would I suggest you doing your foundation in social media first? Damn right I would. Why? Would you buy something without reviewing what someone is doing? No. You need social proof. Don't worry if people are not commenting or liking. There are people seeing it. Remember, there's 4 kinds of people out there in in scrolling land. The ghosts, you never know they're there, but they're watching absolutely everything you do. The butterflies who comment, who do all of the things but never buy a thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And one of them is like the chess player, which is the one you want, the one who's there to play the game. It's a game of business, and don't underestimate the power of it, because if you're wanting the big deals, they're going to come and look you out, just like you do when you go for a job. Where do they go? They're going to look you on LinkedIn. They want to make sure
Yeah.
you're legit. So that's where social fits, to build the foundation. You can build that really quickly. AI is so cool. Go build your workflows. It'll do it all for you. But make it you. I look at
Yeah.
all the posts out there and, I know it's written by AI. So please don't make it look like you've written it. You know, like I train my AI. They are me. We've got the mini Brons in there. I used to call her mini me. The mini me marketing manager. She's in there. She's in my system. She's in Claude. She's all there. But I trained
Yeah.
her. All right, I trained her, so she's like a mini me. Everyone needs a mini me, and we need. And as I said, nowadays for you guys, man, there's so much opportunity. It's not funny. You can cut it but you know, don't worry about the perfect videos. I know you're going to want perfect. But what does your ideal customer want to see? They just want to know
Yeah.
you're
And
real. They just want to know that you're legitimate and that what you do is
exactly.
real.
Exactly. And people are behind, like, shooting those shiny videos, lots
Ugh,
of editing, animation and stuff like that. But all your prospective customer is looking for is, hey, this is my problem. This is the pain I have, and this guy has the painkiller, right?
correct.
So
Is
so
he
if you
real?
exactly, is he real?
I keep
Not
saying
just
that
saying
to
a
her.
lot of things and then basically finding out like, oh, this guy's of no use, right?
And so, you know, there are so many tools. Like, let's go back to basics. Edits. Meta's tool for Insta and Facebook. It's such a great little
Edits,
tool
yeah.
for edits. It's great. It's
Yeah.
free.
Yeah,
Upgrade the
it's free.
music, you
And
know. So it's free. You know, it's just make it simple. Don't complicate it. And
yeah,
when
you don't need
you
a big camera and all
no,
of the
you do
setup
not.
or everything, right? You just
Yep.
need your mobile phone to shoot a good video and talk about the pain points of your customer and
Yep.
how you're going to help them as a
Yep.
person, as a human being, right?
That's what I was. I was
So,
just looking because I've just done some videos today, and I do have someone who holds the camera for me, and I do have someone who edits. But guess
yeah,
what? I'm a bit behind, so I had to go out. So today, my little professional studio was my trusty mics,
yeah.
my phone, a tripod, and because it was a little bit dark here in Australia today, my big softy light, which I clip onto the
That's it.
That's it. Because we
That's it.
want the one thing you do want, guys, is quality sound. As you know, I don't know how basic, we could be a little bit basic for you here, but good sound, and please don't shake the camera around. That's all I ask. Other than that, just point and shoot. Snip it
Yeah.
together, and if you're wanting to move things around, like you're wanting the split shots, just keep the camera rolling and shove the whole thing into edits, and then it's like done. Snip out the bits, add the music, add the captions, sweet, done. Don't think
Right.
about it. What does your ideal customer want? They want you.
Yeah, because perfection is a trap,
It's
right?
a big trap. It takes time,
Yeah.
it takes energy, costs money.
Yeah.
Time is money.
Right. And one more thing, Bron, is like you were talking about that 63%. I want to come back to that.
Yes.
So there is a very there's a very scary term that we entrepreneurs sometimes don't understand. And since you are the expert in marketing, you would
Sorry,
simplify
I'm
this
not
for us.
laughing, but I'm laughing. It's like, okay, I know some things, and I know how to make I know how to make it work. Yeah, keep
So
going.
So I want to ask about drip campaigns.
Yes.
Sounds
Yeah.
scary. And a lot of marketing people talk a lot about, oh, are you doing drip campaigns or not? You're not doing drip campaigns. You're losing customers. You're sitting on a gold mine, but you're not doing drip campaigns. What the hell is drip campaign?
Drip campaigns. So I'll give you, this is Bron's way of looking at business. There's
Yeah.
5 pillars: lead generation, lead nurture, sales conversion, deliverables, referrals, upsells, and selling back to the people who've already been your customer before. So lead generation, ads. Someone comes in for something. Generally, it's a free thing. You'll see it all. You've opted into 5,000 things, no doubt. That's a free offering. That's a sales campaign. They've opted in. The drip campaign is the nurture part of that process. So we've
Okay.
advertised, lead nurture. We've now lead generation. The nurture is the drip campaign, which is automatic emails that go out, and you're look, depending on who you listen to, is depending on how often you're going to send them and what you're going to say in it. That's where your long sales copy comes in, like, boring.
Yeah.
Remember, who's your ideal customer? You've got them onto your database. Now let's show them respect and start giving them all of the free things you can possibly throw at them. Why? Because of that, the ethos behind that is, oh my God, Bron gives all of this free stuff. I wonder what it's like to work with her. And what's my next pillar? Sales and conversion. So you want to give your good stuff away. I'm not saying give away your full product, or in your case, your tech, and you don't give away your secrets, your IP.
Yeah.
So we don't give that. So my methods that I follow, I call them the Bron & Co. Co stands for collaboration, Bron & Co method. I'm now up to Bron & Co 6.0 method. I talk about the method, but I will not give my secrets until I'm paid, basically.
Yeah.
But they all know that my method is there. And so what happens is with drip campaigns is you're wanting to warm or keep that person interested in what you do. Keep giving them free stuff. Just love on them, give them valuable information, follow round. You wouldn't want to start selling until at least 4 emails in. Because a lot of what you'll find, go and look online, go and listen to all the gurus. Everyone's going to have 5,000 different ways to do it. Find one that resonates with you, okay? Because they'll go, you want to knock people into your list and you want to knock them out. Because a lot of times people will come in because they're wanting to steal what you want. They just wanted the free thing and they're never, ever going to be your customer. They're the 37. So in your drip campaign, we're focusing on the 63. The 3 are already going to buy. So drip campaigns is automated emails, which is fabulous. And guess what? You can build it through AI just like that. But make sure they're real.
But then if I keep sending these emails in a couple of days to whoever people who have come in from lead generation, will they not block me? Like they would think I'm spamming their inboxes with so much of information, right?
So that's why we want
I
to
get
know.
myself.
A good question. It's a great question. So you're not going to spam them because you're not selling to them. You're building a relationship. Okay. So drip, and so they're designed to knock people in and out. So if you go and talk to the gurus, that's what they're going to tell you. But my recommendation is you want to build trust. So with your product or service, you want to build trust. So that, because what do they need to know? Thinking ideal customer. What do they want to know? What do they want? And then what are their challenges? And you start putting those things in your drip campaign. Yes, you're going to put, hey, I've got, in case for the Serenity Project, oh, cool, come over here. We've got this podcast. Not selling them anything. I'm just asking them to come and listen to my podcast. Cool. The next one could be, hey, I've just built this, like at the moment, I'm in the middle of building, would you believe, an ebook series. Oh, Bron, they're so old-fashioned. No, they're not for my market. It's very strategic. So I'm building my first Serenity Guides, Series 1, right now. Yeah. I'm going to give them away in that drip campaign. And then in there, I'm going to talk about, cool, I've got this community over here. Do you want to know more? This is what it's about. They might buy it. They might not. They won't. They will take you. They'll unsubscribe if they're the one of the 37.
Right.
All right. And so yes, you're going to get unsubscribes, and yes, you're going to get blocks and all of the stuff and the things. Yeah. And when you're advertising or in your lead nurture campaign, you will. So imagine the best way to think about an ideal customer, right? Got a rock, and I've written down. I'm old school, right? Because I can throw it into a pond, right? So I'm writing, and I'm going to make you write it down too. We're going to write old school. All of the things, the psychographics, the demographics, all of the things about this ideal customer. Remembering multiple ideal customers, but we're only going to focus on one. I'm going to take that piece of paper. I'm going to go, Piyush, give that to me. I'm going to wrap it in a rock. You're going to, oh my God, what is she doing? I'm throwing it into the pond. And where it hits in the middle of that pond, that is your absolute 100% ideal customer. But what happens when you throw a big rock in a pond? You get ripples. Ripples that go far, 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 far reaching, which means I'm still sort of connected ideal customer way out here, but they're not as ideal as the ones in the middle. But if I don't focus on just the ones in the middle, I miss out on all the ripples because I'm trying to throw too many things in the pond and it makes no sense. So I know that might sound a bit weird to you guys, but that's what we want to get. We want to get so clear, and we're going to test it for 90 days. Going to test
Okay,
it.
so test it for 90 days is important, because then you
Very
need to have patience, and then you need to first in hand build all the emails that you're going to send over a period of 90 days, right?
yeah, but
And then you
you
have
know
to
what? You don't have
schedule
to
it.
build. You don't have to build them all at once.
Okay.
You don't. So this is the thing, right? Because if I
Yeah.
said to you, Piyush, I want you to build this 90-day thing, you're going to go, what? I don't have time for all of that. I got to go work. I got stuff
Yeah.
to do. I'm
Exactly.
like, cool.
Exactly.
But if I said to you, right, I just want you to get the next 3 weeks done, right? And because what sits right for you is that we're going to send 5 emails over the next 3 weeks. I'm making this up. Please don't take this literally. I'm making it up.
Right.
If I said to you, but what I want you to do first is go and do some research on Claude, insert your AI tool here. You're going to go to Claude, and I want you to ask them these. Here's some very specific. So I've got some very specific prompts that I use to create an ideal customer that turns into like a 30-page document, which I then obviously file, and then it gives me the foundation to build the skills for the other things that I'm going to do, right? So we're going to work on that ideal customer. And then once we've done that, we can then start looking, well, what do they want to know? And I want you to think about when you're scrolling on social media, and what's something that catches your eye that stops the scroll. That little spot of interest, that's where your free thing gets put. Not the big, deep solution to, hey, I'm going to show you how to build a 90-day drip campaign. Like, they're going to go, oh, what? What's a drip campaign? I don't know.
Right.
Some marketing random term that Bron mentioned. But if I said, how to, well, I'm just going to make it up here. Let's go, work your ideal, how to find your ideal customer in 20 minutes on Claude. And I'm going to give you my prompts for free. You go, thank you. Name, email, bang, they're on your list. Now you start your drip campaign.
Right. Right.
So you want to go back to, you want to know what is the scroll stopping moment? What is your ideal customer thinking, feeling, doing that they're going to stop, and in that 3-second period, hit your button and give you their name and
Right.
email.
And my next question is, how do you find that moment, right? Because you don't know what the other person thinks about, right? So there has to be
You
a
do
lot of
research.
research.
Yeah, but Claude, like whatever, GPT, I don't know, Gemini, Copilot, whatever the heck you're using, whatever your thing is, right? Use whatever the thing is. You can narrow that down so easily these days, and you know what, the best way, if you've got in your network, if you know someone who knows someone who's your ideal customer, guess what? This is going to sound terrible for you young guys. Go and talk to them. Talk to them. Say, what was it like? So, Piyush, people who want to scale, they're going to go, please tell me, what was it like bootstrapping? How did you feel? How did you make the very first decision to
Right.
not go get seed funding?
Yeah.
See what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah, that is
that's
what.
the most important thing, not how to make 7 figures, guys. You got to start with what's your ideal customer's what's their top thing, and research. Oh my goodness, let AI do all the work for you. And go and speak to a real person.
And what are your top 3 recommended tools for entrepreneurs, especially new ones, for marketing?
Well, that's a really good question, because what I use might not necessarily, I'm in the game of, you get in, you do the work, and you get the hell out of there. You don't want to stay there. You don't want it to be perfect. So edits, definitely. Any video, edits is so easy. I know there's CapCut. I know there's other tools. But this is the thing, Pusha. It changes so much all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's a really
Exactly.
hard question, right? So my suggestion will be, go to your AI tool that you love, that you've started, that you use, and go and get it to give you a bit of get it to do an audit based on who you are. So I love Claude because it's so easy. I love projects. I love being able to filter it through. I like workflows. I like to be able to automate it. That for me, all right? Because I don't want to spend my life marketing. I've got way bigger things to do. Don't know about you, but that's for me. So my top tip will be go and do some research on where you have hung out on AI and go and ask it to give you an audit based on what it knows about you, because it's going to know all about you by what you've searched.
Nice. And Bron, like, from your own experience, right? Resilient and not relentless, right? What is the difference and why does it matter to every business owner?
If I could go back to myself in my 30s, when I was starting out, when I was looking to start a business, what we do, because you don't know what you don't know, and then you suddenly realize that you don't know anything growing a business, is I was so relentless on success, on being the best I could be in that mentoring space, in delivering what I just wanted to be the best version of me that I could. And I was relentless. And yes, I was financially rewarded for that. So I'm not driven by dollars per se, but I'm driven by the feelings of success and seeing a light shine in my customers' eyes. That there's nothing, you cannot put money on that when you see someone go, oh my God, I get it. And then they go and do it. There's nothing better as a mentor, right? I was so relentless that I disregarded myself. I looked after everybody else until the point when I couldn't. So if I could go back to my younger person, I would say you've got to get a balance there. You cannot keep working the way you did. Remembering I've got 5 children by this stage. You guys, you're younger, man. You got the world at your feet. But please look after yourself. Self-care comes in all shapes and sizes. The very first one in business is saying no to something that's not right. Because I know in your gut, I know, Piyush, that you know in your heart, you've done it. You backed yourself. You know that feeling? You know the feeling? That feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
You backed yourself, whereas there are people who won't, because they're still chasing the money, they're chasing the success, they're chasing all of the things that comes with growing a business at the cost of their health. Health, you cannot put a price on. And you only realize how valuable it is until you don't have it. So you want to be able to, and adversity comes in all shapes and sizes. And it doesn't matter, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You've been there. You already felt it. You know what I'm saying? So my top thing there is to please, please, please listen to yourself. And the only way to do that is to have some resilience. What resilience really is being able to slow down enough to listen to the really quiet voice in your soul, because that voice knows a lot. You listen to yourself and you know it, because it's as Henry Ford would say, the decision is right because you've made it right. That's not the words that is so wrong, but you know what I'm saying, that what he did was that every decision is right because you make it right. And so that's where, when you make it, and when you make that decision, you stand by it. And when you have feelings of overwhelm and stress and you don't know what to do, I want you to look and be where your feet are. Literally be where your feet are and feel what's going on around you, because what that does, it grounds you. I know you don't want to be grounded, but what it does is when you're in that moment, you can then decide what's next. I'll give you a really quick example. You and I were on the basketball court, right? Like, I don't know if you ever play basketball. I play basketball. We're playing the basketball. We're going for the shot, and I miss it. Ugh. Coach, timeout, everybody off, 30 seconds. What are we going to do? That coach in that moment has 2 choices. One, we can either look back and talk about what I did or wrong, or we can focus on what's next, the next play. Not the whole game, not the whole season, but the next play. And that is what being where your feet are brings when you pause and you start listening to yourself and you start hearing about what's going on. You can then have space to pause, to reflect and go, cool, what's the next play? Not the whole
Right.
marketing campaign, not the
Yeah.
accounting because you've stuffed it, your bookkeeping's all over the place. What's the next play? And that is, I wished I'd been told that, and how powerful that is to business success.
Exactly, because your well-being is directly related to how your business will grow. So you
Yes,
cannot have meds and grow your business. That does not make sense.
it doesn't.
Absolutely, that's a very true reflection, Bron. Thank you so much. And similar to this, like ambitious but exhausted, right? So
Yes.
for the founder running on empty, right? What's the first real step?
The very first step is that be where your feet are. Exactly the same. And what it means is when you are getting exhausted and burnt out, because it is obviously, as my nursing education hat on, it's real because we're resilient. We're just not resilient, we're relentless. So we bring it back. What's the next thing? I know you've already got your plan. I know you've got your business plan. I know you've got all of the things, but what's your next thing? And that's it. And in some cases, it literally might be sending one email. That's it. That's your next thing.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then we do it again. Okay, Bron's here again. What's the next thing? And putting boundaries into place with health and wealth and not scrolling half the night, or, because rest is not a luxury as I used to think it. Rest is actually essential. One of the most important things a business owner can do. Entrepreneurs should learn how to rest first and then grow their business, because it's not sustainable, and you don't know it until you end up in places that you don't want to end up.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. That's brilliant. And Ron, let's talk about the Serenity Project and your book, which
Yes.
you're writing. How does that came into being?
It came into place because I actually sadly had a second cancer diagnosis, completely unrelated, in 2023. So I'd gone through a curable lane of cancer, and then I found myself on an incurable lane. So I have a blood cancer, and it will be with me for life, whatever that looks like. And what I've found out is that when it comes to medicine and therapy and all of the things you need when you're unwell, is there's a space missing, and I called it the third space. And it's the place where science and soul with evidence and perspective meet. Because the science is beautiful and we have Western medicine, but then there's the soul. There's things like what we've been talking about today. Believe it or not, everything that we've been talking about today is identical to my community who are living through cancer, whether it be themselves, their family, their friends, or the experts who care for them. We can bring in exactly those same lessons when you're going through adversity. So if someone's out there and they're feeling the burnout, this is exactly relevant to them. If there's someone who's growing their business, it's exactly relevant to them. And in my world now, the Serenity Project came about because I couldn't find this information, and I'm very good at looking because I'm an educator. I teach at university. I do all sorts of things, right? And run my own business for a long time. So
Yeah.
that's where it all came about. So I've built this incredible community, and I'm very excited. It's only pretty new. It's only about 6 months old. So I'm getting there. And the book, of course, you probably already guessed the title, which is called Be Where Your Feet Are. And it's specifically for those living through cancer. But as I said, believe it or not, and I don't share this very often, is that I could have chosen a business audience. I could have chosen a nursing audience. I could have chosen a women's audience, but I didn't. I chose cancer, and that's called ideal customer. And I could have written the book. I can write the book for all of 4 of those ideal customers, but I'm choosing 1 because people don't understand, and they're not meant to understand, that the way we grow a business is the same we handle going through cancer.
Right.
Dead
Right.
serious.
When you were diagnosed, right? The role of your family.
Yeah. I couldn't be here without my family. So my beautiful husband, Paul, obviously has been through this whole thing with me, and I'm very blessed because not every husband or wife or partner can step up through such adversity. He became
Yeah.
everything that I couldn't. So I've become a lot more vulnerable and a lot more open with how I'm feeling or where I'm at, and everyone just works around that because I do have bad days. I get these days where I have, I call it ugly energy because I don't have any, but I listen to it this time versus the old Bron would have pushed through no matter what. So I was very blessed, but not everybody is blessed in that space. And I actually did a podcast recording this afternoon about it, which is finding someone to be there with you through these things, which is why I built this damn community, because not everyone has that. And, you don't want someone to go through it alone. It's a tough gig.
Yeah, it's a very tough place to be in, physically as well as emotionally and mentally also.
Yeah.
So moving on, Bron, what do you want someone to feel after reading your book?
When it comes out later this year, what I want them to feel, I want them to take the bits that they want to take, and I want them to leave the rest, because not all of it may be relevant. I want them to feel that they have awareness and that they too can find their serenity. So I use the word serenity because it comes from a very old poem called the Serenity Prayer. And it's, God, grant me serenity to accept what I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So that is why I use the word serenity. I was told a few weeks ago, someone asked me, Bron, it's such a weak word. It's passive. I said, no, it's actually not. It's a very, very empowering word when you understand what it is. Because if you're finding, I call them serenity moments, if you're finding a serenity moment, it means that you are courageous. It means that you have strength because you've realized, because you found serenity, you found your courage, and you found your wisdom. So for people to read, when they read the book, I would love them to have awareness and be inspired that they too can go and find their serenity, their path to healing, their path to success, whatever that looks like.
So that's really beautiful that the book will tell us about acceptance. Like, this is my situation. I am here. I'm not going to be able to change it. How do I live with it? Right?
Yes.
And how do I make peace with it? That's
It's
really
living
beautiful.
through it. It's so
Through it,
insert adversity, insert whatever. It's living through it. We don't go around it. We don't go under it. We don't ignore it. You live through it. And every single person can follow that healing path to serenity, no matter what the outcome, because I know what it's like to have a curative diagnosis, and I now know what it's like to be given an incurable diagnosis. It's in a very rare situation, and the fact that of my nursing education and being in the industry for such a long time, that's where the perspective comes from, because I know what it's like. I am the person who stood there by the bed in I don't know how many times listening to people getting diagnosed. I know. I've lived it for a long time. So, it's an interesting space, but I'm very, very much looking after myself at the same time. I'm not doing this for everyone else. I'm not.
And can I ask you, when will this book be published?
Look, if I'm looking at I'll just check my plan, because I've got a lovely strategy plan here. I think I've got the book. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. I think it's September. Because I want it, September this year. So I'm pretty excited.
Great. So we will be waiting for your book to be published. That would be amazing.
I would love you to have it. I'll send you one. I'll have to get your address. I'll send you one.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to send you one.
Sure, I'll be more than happy to read it and then come back to you, because
That'd be
I am
great.
really looking forward about that part of serenity. That's something that has touched me today, right?
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. And it comes in all shapes and sizes, as I said, because it's
Yeah,
your serenity is not mine. You don't want
exactly.
bronze. You want
Yeah,
yours.
yeah, absolutely. And Ron, what do you want our listeners to take away from your story?
I think the biggest thing I think the most powerful thing that I'd love to ensure that people can remember, if you could just please remember to be where your feet are and to focus on the next play, the next step. You stay there, the next step leads to the next step, and you will find a way through. You just don't know how yet. So we let go of that control and we just stay here. I know I will. I just don't know how. It's a very powerful. It's when you're a control freak like I was. I had a lot of things to control, but now I realise that maybe I didn't. Maybe I should have just let them be. So yeah, that's what I'd love. If people can just be where their feet are, it would make me very, very happy.
Superb, superb. That's an amazing advice also. And one last question, Ron. You've been through a journey of early day chaos to slowly finding clarity, right?
Yes.
So how do you define clarity today?
The way I would define clarity is where I have made my world, my thoughts, my desires, my dreams so simple that it is just so clear that I know I will, I just don't know how. I know I will be on a path of healing. Do I have all the answers of it? No. That's clarity. Because if you stay with that, if you stick to the plan, you've literally, it's like a blue line on the GPS on your phone. You stick to
Yeah,
the blue line. You don't know where you're going to healing, you have no idea how to get there, but you stick to the path. You will get there. You
right.
just don't know how you're going to get there.
Yeah. Don't think about the destination. Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy it. And I used to hate the word journey. Like, I don't have time for journey. I just want to get there. I'm impatient. I just wanted to succeed.
Yeah.
Clarity brings the appreciation of the journey, but not even worrying, but just being where you are now,
Right.
because you're following the blue line to whatever your dreams are versus trying to
Exactly.
make it happen.
Perfect. That's really powerful, and thank you so much, Bron. Genuinely, thank you so much. This was a real one. And before we go, where can people find you and the Serenity Project?
I think the easiest way, because if anyone has any questions, go to serenityproject.com.au. There's lots of information there. If you're on LinkedIn, just hook me up, Bron Watson. Same with Instagram and Facebook. It's Bron Watson. Please find me. I'll answer on the website. There's a little link there where you can either leave me a voice message or a text, and I'll always answer every single one. Yeah, we're here to collaborate. We're here to make this world a better place. So let's go, people.
And I will also put all those links in the description in this podcast episode, so you can reach out to Bron. And I'm sure we all are waiting for your book, Bron, which is coming this September. So
I'll
looking
let
forward
you
to
know,
it.
and you'll get this you'll get a parcel in the mail. We're
Thank
going
you.
old
Thank
school.
you.
Yeah, I will absolutely make sure I get your address and I'll send you one. I'd love you to have a read.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. You've been listening to Chaos to Clarity. I'm your host, Piyush Thacker, and I'll see you in the next one.